Everyone for being here for our winter weather briefing. We're going to get started with our first speaker, Mayor Leonardo Williams, and he's going to walk us through today's briefing and who's going to be speaking with you. Thank you.
So good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. To our Durham City and Durham County residents, we basically wanted to provide the information that was reported yesterday in our City Council work session. As we all know, Durham City and County, we have a great partnership, and we have the fortune of being one city, one county, one municipality. And so we're here together with all of our emergency apparatus and public safety and community safety apparatus as we will talk about our coordinated efforts to take on this storm that is approaching. So what I'll do is, first of all, I want to thank everybody, all of our staff and team members for coming on such short notice. There's been lots of questions on how brutal will this storm be. We have seen a less snow projected, but we still going to have ice. Still going to have ice that's going to be here. So I'm going to call on our professionals to speak, and the first person that I'll ask to come up is Ms. Elizabeth Schroeder with the Durham County Office of Emergency Services, Chief Emergency Manager. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. Elizabeth Schrader, Chief Emergency Manager for both the city as well as the county. Emergency management is taking a very proactive posture to this winter weather event. This prioritizes both the safety of our community as well as the safety of our staff. Departments across both the city and the county have implemented their winter weather plans, and we have been preparing together all week ahead of the storm this weekend. Our communications teams have been pushing messaging to our community about preparedness. I cannot emphasize preparedness enough. We have been reviewing historical data, recent events, as well as incorporating lessons learned and best practices into our posture. We incorporate data from multiple weather models when making decisions about our posture for a particular storm. We are prepared for this to be potentially the worst storm we have seen locally in about 25 years. I do caution our community members, especially those that were not here in the early 2000s and experienced that last winter weather event. Take our caution seriously. Be prepared for this storm. We've watched the forecast drastically change from a large snow accumulation, shifting more into an ice storm. We take those very seriously. Even a quarter inch of ice can significantly impact our operations, preventing some of our emergency response vehicles to be out on the roads and provide the appropriate response that we can during normal operations. There may be individuals in our community that have experienced other winter weather events in other communities. Potentially these communities experience these events more frequently than we do. It's different here. A quarter inch of ice cripples our responses, and we need to be prepared. The storm back, I believe it was in 2000, I remember very vividly. We were without power for nearly 2 weeks, and we need individuals in our community to be prepared for that. Our plan currently, we will be activating our Emergency Operations Center and staffing that 24/7 throughout the entirety of the storm. It's critical that we maintain full situational awareness of all of the impacts countywide that are happening so we can have a safe and efficient response. We're also activating our Joint Information Center. We recognize the importance of consistent messaging to all of our community members and in a timely fashion. Furthermore, we will be proactively setting up a mass care shelter in our community. My team will be going out this morning to conduct a final safety walkthrough, and we will be providing details about location as well as transportation and other access concerns later this afternoon, so please be on the lookout for those updates. I think in closing, I just want to emphasize the importance of personal preparedness. Prepare your homes, prepare your family, ensure you have enough food, you have sufficient clothing, blankets, in case you have to hunker down. If we see the ice that we're anticipated to see, we may have significant power outages across the community. and the restoration may take days. Be prepared for that. We're doing our part in the city and county government. We have been messaging our staff. This morning, I packed enough to stay in this community for a week or longer, depending on what the needs are. I prepared my family back home so I can be here to serve all of you. Please prepare your own families. Last recommendation, once we start seeing the precipitation, we ask that you all stay off the road unless absolutely necessary. We need to allow access for our emergency vehicles to be able to get to the hospital safely. We don't want there to be abandoned cars. We need to be able to serve and protect all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Next, we'll have our chief of our EMS services. Chief, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and City, for hosting the county here today. My name is Seth Kamansky. I'm the Chief of EMS for Durham County. I want to let everybody know that we are ready. The response agencies within Durham County have been working cohesively to ensure coordination and ensure that we are mobilized and ready to respond to any emergency that may happen over the course of the next week or so, depending on the impact. Incident prioritization becomes a big part of what we do during these times. And so the EMS agency in Durham County will be working to activate our Department Ops Center in coordination with the Emergency Operations Center, where we will prioritize our calls based off of the emergencies. Criticality of the nature really becomes important for us during these times. And so we do ask that you do not use the 911 system for non-emergency incidents during this time especially. It's important to prioritize your emergencies and your health care and ensure that we are operating safely. Ambulances do not work any better on ice as a regular vehicle. So it's important to understand that we will be moving slower. We will be operating in a speed that's safe for our folks as well as the residents of Durham County. I have to reiterate, stay off the roads if you can. You do not need to be on the roads during this time, during heavy ice. Ice is not like snow. And so it's important to stay off those roads. Again, cars, ambulances, fire trucks, they do not operate any safer on ice compared to snow or sleet. Slips and falls are a leading cause of injury. It's important to be, as a pedestrian, to also be cautious when you're working out in the front of your house or walking on the roads. Please be cautious. We want to avoid those injuries to avoid hospital transports. As we prepare for power outages, it's important for those with medical devices or unique healthcare needs, prepare yourself today. Please ensure that you're filling your oxygen and you have contingency plans for your oxygen. Ensure that you have batteries charged if you have devices that require batteries. Make sure that you have the equipment at your house that can help you with that. Carbon monoxide is a silent killer, and so it's very important that as you use unique heating sources, that you keep those grills, those generators, and whatever else you may use for heat far away from your house. Keep the carbon monoxide out of your home. Please do not use that inside your house. It's odorless, you will not smell it, and it will overcome you. Cold exposure is also a significant threat during these types of incidents, especially as we get into single-digit temperatures. So please be cautious about what's called the umbles. Stumbles, mumbles, fumbles, those are the pre-signs to hypothermia. And so as you get into a situation where you start to recognize those concerns or a family member of those concerns, it becomes really important that you warm up. If you continue in that environment, the potential is there to go into a hypothermic state. That does become a pretty significant emergency. These are entirely avoidable. Take some time and check on vulnerable neighbors. If you know your neighbor's sick or elderly, need some help, please take some time and check on them throughout the storm. I'll close with saying our crews are ready. We'll be out there in the elements. We'll be there for the Durham County residents, and we're there to keep Durham County safe. But we need you to do your part, so please do take your time, slow down, stay home, stay warm, and reserve that 911 system for emergencies. It's going to take us some time to get to you during the ice, but we will get there if you need us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. Next up, we will have our community safety update from Director Ryan Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Ryan Smith, I'm Director of the City of Durham's Community Safety Department. Our department is responsible during a winter event like this for making sure that we have plans in place to take care of some of our neighbors who are most vulnerable during storms like this, those who are living outdoors and who are unsheltered. We have been working throughout the week with our homeless service providers and others in the community to have plans in place to ensure that everyone in Durham who is living outdoors and is currently experiencing homelessness has a safe, warm place to be throughout the duration of the storm. Starting today, we are expanding emergency shelter for single adults, for families, and for medically vulnerable persons across multiple sites. These shelters, which will open today, will be available throughout the duration of the storm and open 24/7 so that people are able to remain in those shelters until it is safe to be outdoors. As you have heard while we're talking a lot about ice and precipitation and the impacts on travel, this storm also brings bitter cold temperatures, especially on Monday and Tuesday, when it will be in the single digits and potentially with wind chills below zero. And so we are taking that threat and that concern very seriously. The city is proactively conducting outreach. We started yesterday and we'll be doing so today, tomorrow, and throughout the duration of the storm, visiting every known encampment that we are aware of to make sure people are aware of what is coming, to offer transport to shelter. We'll be doing that again throughout the duration of the storm as the HART team and others will continue to work. If you are aware of anyone, if you yourself are experiencing homelessness, we strongly encourage you to seek shelter today or tomorrow morning before things get worse. We will be out in the community meeting with folks. If you yourself are experiencing homelessness and need a safe place, or if you are aware or concerned of someone, we encourage you to call Durham Entry Point today. Entry Point will be open and answering calls until 9 p.m. That number is 984-287-8313. Entry Point will also be open and answering phone calls tomorrow from 4 to 7 p.m. And again, that number is 984-287-8313. They will make sure that we coordinate and get you or your loved one or someone that you are concerned about to safe shelter. When Entry Point is not open, you can always call the non-emergency number at 911, which is 919-560-4600. We will have staff on site and on call all weekend, 24/7, overnight, to make sure that if we are aware of someone who's experiencing unsheltered homelessness who needs transport and assistance getting into shelter, we will make sure that happens. So there is always a number available for you to call. Again, we have multiple shelters. We have a couple of sites that people can walk into, and I just want to name those. We have a shelter at 311 Dowd Street, which you access off of Corporation. It is a gym owned by Union Baptist Church, and we're grateful for their partnership. That is a walk-in site for single adults throughout the storm. There's also the Durham Rescue Mission that has walk-in for men, women, and children at 1201 East Main Street and 506 East Knox Street. But you can always call the number and we can direct you and help you get to the place that you need to go, the numbers that I shared. I want to share that a response like this is something that is too big for any one department and any one government, and I'm grateful in this moment for the collaboration that we have and the support from many agencies, both nonprofits and other providers, as well as Durham residents who are coming together in this moment to make sure that we can take care of those who are most vulnerable during storms like this. I want to name a few. I've already named that we have our street outreach staff who are going to be out there actively working with people living in encampments throughout this storm, and I'm grateful for them doing so. They are partnering with Unite, which is a street medicine team run by Central Pines, and also working with Veteran Services Outreach to make sure that we can get to every person that we are aware of who is unsheltered in Durham during the storm. I want to thank partners like Project Access who bring a lot of expertise and advocacy for folks who are medically vulnerable. This population is especially at risk during storms like this because traditional congregate shelters cannot attend to the cares of medically vulnerable persons. And so we are coordinating with our hospitals to make sure that if someone is discharged and they're medically vulnerable and unable to be in a congregate shelter, that we can get them into an appropriate non-congregate space. I'm grateful for our partners who run shelters every day and who are expanding shelter capacity and will make sure that they're providing meals throughout the duration of the storm and keeping people safe. Partners like Urban Ministries, Open Table Ministries, Families Moving Forward, and the Durham Crisis Response Center. They are going to be doing this work throughout the storm. They're adding more beds, and they will keep people safe and be providing meals. I'm also especially grateful that Urban Ministries is adding even more meals that we can take and transport to other sites. So grateful for their partnership. We also have community folks stepping up in this moment. I'm grateful for partners like Day One Relief that provided generators to 3 of our shelter sites to help them stay operational if power goes down. And also for organizing with groups like the Community Care Collective, a collection of a bunch of meals and other hygiene products for families who will be staying in non-congregate shelters throughout this storm. Grateful for that effort to organize, bag those materials. We'll be picking those up today and getting them to the non-congregate locations. Continue to be grateful for Durham Can and DCIA for organizing our faith communities to help provide additional meals and resources during this storm. And then I'm grateful for our city departments and for other government agencies who we lean on and rely on during storms like this, like General Services, who is going to be plowing the parking lots and the streets that connect to our shelters so we can get staff in and out. Transportation Department, who we are partnering with today and tomorrow to get larger buses around with our street outreach workers so that we can get people from encampments to shelter this evening before the conditions worsen. So again, we have expanded shelter capacity starting this evening. We encourage everyone who may be experiencing unsheltered homelessness to take us up on these offers. We will help you get there to get into to shelter, appropriate shelter, to be throughout this storm starting this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Smith. Next, we will have our Environmental and Street Services update from Director Marvin Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Marvin Williams with Environmental and Street Services. I can only echo some of the things that have already been stated because this storm is turning out to be more of an ice event than snow event. It's required us to change how we're preparing for it. As of this morning, we've started pre-treatment of the city's primary roads and bridge routes, meaning we're applying a brine application, coordinating with the North Carolina Department of Transportation to ensure that all of the state highways and the major thoroughfares through the city are pre-treated before the storm event begins on Sunday. In addition, we are beginning to modify our operations for our solid waste collections. Tomorrow, we will have limited hours at our waste disposal and recycling center on Club Boulevard. We will be open from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. We anticipate being closed on Monday due to the forecast for cold temperatures and the amount of ice that we may see accumulated. Also, we are anticipating that solid waste collections and recycling collections will be delayed Monday, potentially into Tuesday as well. But we will make service changes and updates on a day-to-day basis based on road conditions. The best way for residents to be informed about the service changes that we'll have is to go to our website, durhamnc.gov, go to the Environmental and Street Services Department, and you can review all the information that we have there as far as delays for any type of residential collections for solid waste, recycling. Also, we'll have maps there that are updated with our plow routes that show you what our priorities are, from primary roads to bridge routes to secondary routes. Unfortunately, because this is becoming a ice event more so than a snow event, there's limited response that we can do as far as plowing activities. So residents should have realistic expectations that we will apply salt or salt sand mixture on any roadways where it's appropriate, but there will be times that we will have to wait until the temperatures warm up enough so that our plows are able to break through some of this ice. Again, we're expecting this to be an event where we have multiple trucks out monitoring the roadways, plowing where appropriate, and we will focus our plowing priorities next week based on our solid waste routes. But for up-to-date information, please visit durhamnc.gov, Environmental and Street Services Department.
Thank you, Director Williams. And lastly, we will have Deputy City Manager Keith Chadwell to provide updates and information for fire and police.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, my name is Keith Chadwell. I am a Deputy City Manager and want to share a brief statement around operations in the police and fire departments and relative to those emergency services. And in my statement, you're going to hear some very, very familiar themes, which today we cannot overemphasize. The City of Durham public safety operations in the police and fire departments have made arrangements to deploy extra duty personnel during the period of this upcoming storm. This is an effort to enable public safety services to be provided as responsively and as possible and under what will be very challenging circumstances. The streets and roads throughout Durham that are compromised by coatings of ice will indeed have an impact on response times. With the extra staffing, the departments will implement deployment and response strategies that are designed to effectively deliver needed resources while exercising equally needed cautions and related speed adjustments. Please be aware that calls for service will be prioritized in order to respond to the most serious and life-threatening situations first. Fire department units and forces that are designated for rescue activities are being staged in anticipation of a rise of need. Additionally, nearly all police and fire vehicles will carry extra items such as shovels and ice melting agents to assist with road emergencies. Your public safety professionals will exercise all due cautions during this time, but will not cower to this challenge. Every possible effort to serve will be made. The 911 Center is prepared to be of service, but we implore you again, please use 911 for serious and life-threatening circumstances only. Less threatening situations can be responded to by calling, again, 919-560-4600. Finally, I implore you once again, please do all you can to stay safe, and please stay off the roads if at all possible. Thank you.
I want to thank all of our partners. I want to thank Chairman Mike Lee, the county, and our county commissioners. And I want to thank my city council colleagues and our school board members, everyone who has, we've been in talks of how to pull all of this information together. And what you're seeing is our best foot forward in a very destabilizing projected storm. We're going to see historic lows that are forthcoming in the week. So I hope that we take this information very seriously as we prepare for the week to come. This is it's going to be very, very hazardous. So thank you all for the information that you've shared to our partners, Sheriff's Department, Police Department, Fire Safety, EMS, Emergency Management Services. And this information will be available on our emergency on the emergency website, the city's emergency website, and as well as the City of Durham website. And our YouTube channel will be able to be replayed so that you can provide this information over and over and over, share this information as much as possible, as well as on Channel 4 right now, and Roku and Apple TV, and anywhere you can find us. This information will be available on loop so that you can be able to utilize this and take heed. But I want to thank everyone again, and thanks for coming out.
All right, that concludes our media briefing. Thank you everyone for coming. Have a good one and stay safe.